G'day everybody, and welcome back to the Scrapyard build world, which I haven't streamed in a little while. There are a couple of reasons I thought I would stream some more of the making of the mod today. One, I wanted a chill stream, because as of a little under 48 hours ago, I'm now a dad. My son Toby was born, 11 a.m. 2 days ago. He's currently 7 a.m. So that was really exciting and what has been distracting me for the last 2 days. Thanks everyone for all the congratulations in the time being. Both he and mum are doing well and healthy, and yeah, they're very good, which is exactly the most important part. As long as they're healthy, then it's all good. So what I was thinking of doing today is first saying thank you to everyone for all the donations and stuff that came in before I even started. Like, Beldenick, thanks for the tier 1 sub for 5 months. Thanks, Warmers, for the Prime sub. Thank you, Ogre, for 30 months. Thank you, Taz, so much for the 10 gift subs. Thank you very much. And also, thanks, Mr. Free Hugs. And, gee, thanks, Matcha, for 1,100 bits. Chano, thank you for the 5 gift subs. And thank you, Incest Black, for the 10. Yeah, so today's a chill stream. Chill. Because, yeah, I knew I wasn't going to be able to focus on anything serious. And thank you, Nev. Thank you, Nev, for the 5 gift subs as well. Yeah. So, I'd worked on a couple of little things between the last time you guys saw this, and even some builds that haven't shown up in the main stream yet, like this excavator, which I've been working on, trying to get something that I could kind of make look like tracks that were wrecked. Ah! Thank you, Ratfink, for another 10 gift subs. Thank you very much, everyone. And JC Gamer Inui, thank you for another 10 as well. You guys are insane. This is proper insane. Thank you very, very much. Thanks for the extra 2 bits, Mr. Prehugs. Yeah. So, this little excavator I thought I'd make, which I think kind of sells the idea well enough. My main trouble with it is it's probably got a few too many subgrids. Probably. Thanks, Jex. Thank you, HGO Mako. Thank you for 7 months. I'm glad you're enjoying the Scrapyard stuff. It's really fun. Well, I called the excavator Dog because of Caterpillar. And thank you, Athilium. Thanks for the 100 bits. Yeah, so today was trying to do a few of the little things to see if I can make this publishable. Now, I just had a thought to reduce the number of subgrids on this design. So, one of the things you can probably see is that I've used wheel suspensions to get wheels here. But maybe I don't, and maybe I get rid of the wheel suspensions and just try and make tracks out of things like the cylindrical columns and have things attached to that, because then there's no subgrids, and the only subgrids are this part on the excavator. Then we've got the 3 hinges here. Ah! Thank you, Space Ghost. Thanks for the 250 bits. And thank you, Mavelite. Thank you for 5 gift subs as well. Holy Jesus. That is a lot. You guys have been insane. Thank you very, very much. That will buy many, many nappies. As he seems to be going through like 12 a day. Whoa, Matcha! Hang on, I need to alt tab to see how many that was. Thank you for 25 more gift subs. And Felton Nick, thank you for the 500 bits as well. Yeah, Matcha. The, I've been using subgrids in the Scrapyard mod. I know, it's surprising, because, you know, my anti-subgrid stance for ACS. But for this one, I've had them, because my wrecks have wheels anyway, so they've all got subgrids. So using a hinge here and there, a lot less big of a deal. Thank you, Chex. Thanks for the gift sub. Hang on. Just one sec. This is why this is a chill stream, because I wasn't really expected to get anything done. This is why I couldn't do any of my series ones. Wait. What did I... That was the one I posted there. Hang on a sec. So, this was the picture of... I'm not going to do this on many streams, just for those who aren't interested, but that's the new little guy. As far as I can tell, he's got the whole swollen head thing going on, so can't tell whether he looks like me yet. Ah. Thank you, Chex, for the 100 bits, and thanks, I'm Dead Weight. Thank you for another 5 gift subs. That's like how many now? 150. So yeah, just like with Charlie, I will post primarily on the Discord when I've got a photo I want to share, but I'll try not to preoccupy myself with that too much during the stream, but we'll see how that goes. So yeah, I'm gonna actually copy this just in case I decide I hate the design that I work on. Let's paste it. And I'm going to see if I can come up with a design for some tracks that don't require any subgrids at all, and might actually look better because I don't think these suspensions really worked. So I need light. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, the thing's off there. And the other thing is, if I'm not using subgrids, I can use the combination of the different wheels to get a different look and all these sorts of things, and it should hopefully work out a bit better. I don't think I'll be creating any sort of baby channel. That is not something I would do on the internet. We'll just leave it at that, shall we? Now, because I've gotten rid of the suspensions, I can now actually broaden this middle bit. Which is something that I didn't do initially because I needed to fit the suspensions in and I wanted the tracks to be about the right width, so I couldn't have the base looking right. And I think it's going to look a lot nicer with that, but I've got to figure out how I'm going to do the shape of it so it looks okay. Ah! Awesome! Thank you very much for the 10 gift subs. For 200 total. Hey, you got Moosey with that one too. Yeah. Thanks, Nev. Record from last week broken. That's too far forward. Bring me back. One of those things. Maybe these will look better. Thanks, John Shay. Thanks for converting the Prime sub into a normal sub. Thank you. I will most likely refer to him just as Toby. I gotta start feeling normal saying his name out loud after several months of not saying it because my partner and I didn't want to share what his name was in case someone went, ugh. I knew this Toby once, he was an absolute jerk. Or they started... Now, he's Toby, not Tobias, because of Tobias Fumke from Arrested Development. No way was he going to be that name. For anyone who's watched Arrested Development, they would understand that. So it's just going to be that way. Now, I'm wondering how to do this bit. Do I just do a chunk of blocks? Or is there another block I should put there? What I could put there that might look like machinery behind. the wheels in an interesting way. I can use heat vents, maybe? Because they've got some little detail on them. Toby reminds you of Spider-Man. Yeah, fair. I mean, in that case, so would Sam. Reinforced conveyor tubes, maybe? Just trying to think of what I could use here if I want to use something different. Oh no! SMOSG. I need to turn that off. That does not work. That is not what today's about. Viewer rewards, channel points. Let's disable that. The spawn planetary encounter doesn't really work when I'm making the planetary encounters. I mean, arguably, I could just do this and there we go, one spawned. Whoops. Oh. My bad. I should have disabled that. I mean, I'm sort of making a fresh one right now. It's not from scratch, but it's a fresh one. I think this excavator will be a great addition. So, one of the things I've been trying to do as I design stuff in this, apart from when my designs go terribly wrong, is try and design things that will kind of work in combination with lots of the other structures. So, you can imagine a hangar with an excavator spawning nearby occasionally. You can imagine a shed with an excavator. You can imagine an excavator kind of on any of these things. Maybe not the highway section. But the more of the things that can interact with one another, the more random I can make the collections of buildings and small grids that spawn. So you can end up with a situation where you will literally find a random selection of a thing that is unique to that playthrough, because you won't see it again. I don't have a construction crane-like thing at this stage. I think I could maybe make one that would work well with these office buildings. So I could make something like that, and maybe even make a broken version. But yeah, that's kind of my idea, is to slowly add extra things, but today was meant to not be that. What was I doing? I do want... What am I doing? This. Yes. Build ideas. Yes. Construction crane. There we go. Thanks, CMP Cowboy. Thanks for 15 months. Yeah. And thanks, Thoradin. Thank you for 10 gifts. Subs. I can't word. That's gonna get worse. That's gonna get so much worse. Thank you very much. Hype train complete at level 12. 112 gift subs. You guys are nuts. Thank you so much. All-time record shattered. Dang. Thank you very, very much. Yeah. Well, I mean, if I've got VS Code open, why not use it as a notepad? I've literally got this build ideas text file inside the mod folder, so that anytime I back up the mod, I'm backing up the build ideas too. Right. Back to thing to put behind wheel bits. Maybe? Maybe. Oh, hold up. Hold up. Maybe it'll look better if it's actually... if the tread is 2 blocks wide. So if I put, say... like that. Do you reckon that's better, or do I feel like I need maybe some sort of gap? Thanks, PDW Packrat. Thank you for 28 months. Splitting has been achieved. Yes. Yes, it has. Nah, Shadow, I'll leave that on for now. I need to look after my back, so standing up is probably a good thing. Oh. Change tables need to be made for tall people, just as a side note. Alright, desk is going up. But yeah. Curses. They're all nice and cozy too. Just the desk. No, I'm not going to use my desk as a change table. For those who watch Wasted would know how bad it is when you get, you know, beer and soft drink on your keyboard. Can you imagine what else I would get on my keyboard? That's not good. That's really not good. Yeah. The screamy emote face from Black Shadow is right. So, what I'm thinking of trying to make this look like is as though the tracks have gone slack on it. As best I can, and that maybe chunks are missing or something. I think it might look better if it's not these ones though. I think it needs to have the angled pieces to sell it, otherwise it kind of gets lost in all the rustiness. Yeah. Thanks, Test Unit. Thanks for the Prime sub. Thank you, Max Longhaul. Thank you for 5 more gift subs. Thank you very much. I feel a little bit chuffed from yesterday, I will say this much. My sister, who has 3 kids, complimented me on my burrito making abilities. A human burrito. Thanks, Froggy. Thank you for 15 months. You're not hearing me. Uh-oh. No? That should be fine. Yeah, that's just on your end, Neo. Try and match these up to each side. There. Grind off the rubber bits. Do that. Oh yeah, that'll definitely help. Getting rid of some of the other bits. So obviously I'm going to age this thing a lot more. My usual approach to these builds is try and make something that looks the part first, and then I'll grind away bits and make a few variants so that they're at different levels of disrepair. But that looks... I think I'm pretty happy with that. Have you guys got any other thoughts about what I could do with the tracks to make them a bit more believable? They're obviously very much placeholder. I'm like, yeah, I think I need to make it so it sits flat on the ground as well. So that's why I haven't put anything on the bottom. But I maybe should do something like this. Oops. These are all going to pop off, aren't they? Dang it. Not if I do this. should do it this way. That's going to keep them on. Do not have all the things drop off. Does it have cargo for loot? I don't know. I don't think I gave it cargo. I've given it hydrogen tanks, so it could have full hydrogen in it. It's got 2 engines, so that's a couple of power cells. So I think that's not too bad. Yeah, I'll do this thing so things don't drop off and then something immediately drops off. Yes, exactly. Thanks. 09KLR650, thank you for the 400 bits. Thank you very much. Grab those out. Now I should be safe to do this. Yes. Good. Hey Horrocks, how's it going? Welcome. Thanks Master MSC. Thank you for 9 months. 9 months ago. I was thinking of very different things. I think this will make this a bit nicer underneath. Just felt a bit weird from the front having that just perfectly flat across there. Oh, how did auto-rotate go on? That's not... No, we don't auto-rotate around here. No, thank you very much. Auto-rotate is bad. And then I'm going to go like that. These bits. These bits. Oh, poop. There would be 1 piece remaining, wouldn't there? Oh, yeah. I suppose... Yeah, Horrocks, I guess this hour of the day might have a few more non-English speakers. Yeah, the 1 block high tracks look a bit too flat. They do, I agree, Nev. I'm just not sure how to make them... how to make them less flat, but not so large that then they start looking ridiculous for other reasons. That's my concern. Also, let's pop this off and just turn off damage while I do this. Pop this off and see what it looks like on the ground, because I think that's going to help. So if you come across it looking like that, is a very different... I think the tracks need to go further back. I think that's what I need to do. But it's a very different look than standing up there. Because then you can kind of imagine more of it's in the ground, which I think helps a lot. Thank you, Kyver. Thanks for the Prime sub. So I think that helps. Tracks need to be wider, yeah, perhaps as well. Yeah, I couldn't think of a different way to do the tracks, and I did want it to look like it has tracks. Largely because I know we can't really effectively do tracks in Space Engineers. So it's fun being able to do something that looks kind of like them, even when it's not them. Oops. Yeah, arguably they should be wider, but there does come a point where I'm like, am I making this thing too big? Do you look at this thing and go, oh, I know what that is? If so, then I should probably be happy with it as it is. So that's kind of the key thing for me is, can you look at the thing and go, oh yeah, I know what that's supposed to be? Because that's sort of all I need to achieve. It's like you look at a toy excavator and you're like, the scale's wrong there, but I still know exactly what that's supposed to be. Yeah, I did see the thing about automatons supposed to come in April. Let's hope the next announcement doesn't come on the 1st. Yes, this should work. Oh, I don't think it. I don't think for a second that it is a that it is a gag announcement. I just hope it doesn't come on the 1st, so that it. I hope they realize that doing it on the 1st would be a very bad idea. Uh-oh. I think I was clanging that out with my helmet. I need to get in there and paint that. So the reason I haven't put, like, tracks on the ground as such is... Oh, that should be the other way around. It's because that would be the block below. So this is all kind of flat on the bottom at the moment. And I'm not sure I want to make it so that it's not. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, well, whoops. Let's get rid of that and then replace. I was going to place like a half one and see if that will work, but it's not going to like it. I think that painting this is actually helpful for selling the illusion. Having it all rusty, it was really hard to discern all the bits. Let's go in and grind those out. But yeah, I'm very excited about the automaton stuff because of what it offers us in terms of automation with the event controller and the scripting capabilities with the event controller. There we go. I think that does the trick. Yeah, the corrugated texture was needed there, wasn't it? It needed to break it up and make you go, oh, that's a tread. Okay, cool. Yeah, nice. All right. Yeah, the engine's running. I should probably turn them off so that it doesn't spawn in and immediately kill the, use up all the fuel. Well, maybe we'll leave them on, actually. No, we'll leave them on. No, I should turn them off. I should definitely turn them off. But I need them on for the moment, because what I'll do is maybe set up some limits on the excavator arm. So the idea I had when I was creating this was I wanted to create something that would give people a crane arm of sorts, or at least some pieces for it that they knew were the bits they needed and would have the functional parts they needed that you might find early on. So let's put some braking torque on this. Some braking torque on this. And put some braking torque on this. And also on there. Now when I turn the engines off, it'll be fine. Oops, didn't put it on this one. That's it. Oh, I didn't put enough on that one. That's okay though. Oh, or is it? No. Actually, that is bad. I don't want the pieces colliding with each other because I don't know what effect that could have on spawning. There we go. That's better. See you, Shadow. Thanks so much. Thanks, Zuria. Thank you for 9 months. This morning is going well. I got some sleep last night. I got very little at the hospital the night before. But I came home to sleep last night because Charlie was... Charlie had been at home on her own for a while. Why? What? I don't know what you mean, Chibi. Why is... What hub? Hub? There's a hub? Yep, Mum and Bub are doing well. All healthy, happy, feeding, doing all the things. The housing between the reason that's high is space engineers. It's either I make it so low that it's boring, or I make it so high that it looks weird. There's no alternative at this block scale. Yeah, so excavation near this is not something that's going to be a thing. All that sort of stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, but Chibi, if it was flat, it'd look boring, and that wouldn't work right in Space Engineers, so it's kind of... That's just how... You gotta... Like... An excavator arm also doesn't look chunky like this either. So there are things you work within the limits of, and you add extra bits on because it works for Space Engineer's style, as opposed to doing stuff that is strictly within realism. You gotta use creative license where it's going to add to the overall effect, and I think this is one of those bits where you gotta... But yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Just got to make a few worn down variants of it. Yeah, it definitely gets the point across that it's an excavator. I think. So I'll pop that with the other finished vehicles, and I'll do some wearing down on it later. So, the other thing that was suggested, which I think is a good idea, because then I can work on a few like construction sites things. And the reason I want to do the construction site is actually something that plays towards getting this mod ready, or the mod pack ready for released. ready for release. I was talking during the last Scrapyard stream that one of the things I was thinking of doing was putting basic assemblers that could be found on planet. For getting a proper assembler, you'd have to go to space. So to kind of balance those two sides of things and give you a reason to go to space, give space the sense of progression. The space side of this mod is something I'm not going to try and complete for release. But there's a part of me that's tempted to at least throw in some placeholder grids. Just grab some ACS grids, rust them out, or probably just grind them down, actually, because space, rust. I may still rust them, because why not? But yeah, so the space stuff will be potentially after release, but I might, or the proper stuff, might put some placeholder things in. But I was thinking a construction site is where an assembler makes sense. So I can then make a construction site. I could then make something that looks like a cement mixer, which could be fun. Turning one of the little trucks over here into a thing that looks like a cement mixer. Because my idea is to eventually just maybe make a... What I think I'd like to do is maybe make a boss grid for the mod that's either in space or spawns only on one of the planetoids. That boss thing that will be one of those purple MES markers. When you get to it, there'll be a notepad and some other things in it that say to you, at this point you should remove the build restrictions from your game, because you've achieved everything you should, you've reached the end of the progression, remove it and just keep playing with whatever other mods you want to add. Because I don't really want to bother with a scripted way of doing that. I think it'd be fine, and that also kind of feels like a nice end point for people who want to play through to that point. Give them a clear goal. But that's down the line ideas. And also a boss like that I will probably use in a series and then release. Yeah, free play unlocked, exactly. That's sort of what I was imagining. So, crane design. I need something that's going to fit with the scale of these office buildings and construction of it. And... sure, what am I going to do? Thanks, Yesteryear. Thanks for 100 bits. Yeah, so I might use, for space stuff, I may end up using Frozen and other stuff like that. That is certainly a valid option. I think for a crane, I'd like to figure out a way to use the beam blocks. But I'm guessing if I'm going to do that, I should probably try starting it with the ladder shaft in the middle and see what I can work with that. This is going to be the turret towers for ACS all over again, I think. How to make something tall, skinny, and boring look interesting. A lesson in design frustration. Yeah, the construction cranes are like an unfinished armor block. Yes. But is that interesting enough? I don't know. And the trouble with the full block beam block is that it's really boring on one side and kind of interesting on the other side. I don't know. I'll have to try a few things. Oh, hold up. Hang on. Done this in a way. I just came up with a different idea that might work better. If I use panels and grind them down instead, they may work better. Panels and standard ladder. So then we go up. Then we go... What am I going to use on the edge here? I kind of want to use corner lights. But if I'm going to use corner lights, I'm going to pop that out. I'm going to get rid of that. Corner light on there. And there. No, I don't want to use the neon tubes. Or I want to try it with the corner lights first. The reason being, I can then leave some of them intact as lighting. Because I'm going to grind them down. Or I could do a combo, I guess, actually. If I do this as 2 bits. The reason I deleted the line of blocks going up is once I make one section, I'm just going to copy-paste it onto itself. Which should give me a much quicker build. Basically, use the things that I know exist and that I so rarely use to speed up my day. Oh, nope, not that way. Need to go that way. And that goes on there. And then that goes on there. Alright. Grind down light. Yeah, I probably will just go with the neon tubes, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna. Alright, fine. I was curious how it'd look, and I forgot that, yeah, the build state of these, not really desirable. That makes things easy, though. Neo, I never play with the nanobots build and repair, because I don't see the point. It doesn't work for the way I play the game. I like building stuff, I like designing stuff, and if I'm gonna do it quickly, I do it in creative mode. For me, there doesn't seem any value to build and repair. If I'm playing survival, I want the challenge, I want the boredom, the pain of repetitive action to push me to engineer something better. Or the repetitive action to provide me some zen, some chill. Because sometimes hand welding something is just a bit of a chill time. It's just a bit of a... I'm not really thinking about what I'm doing. I'm thinking about other things. So I'm just going to get this boring bit done. There you go. And I get that other people play the game differently, and that's good. But it's just not the way I play it. So it's not a criticism of people who play it that way, it's, I don't like to play it that way. Oh, there we go. Oh wait, I can make this heaps easier. There we are. I do that, and then I pop all these out from the middle. Then, on the inside, we can place a regular old ladder. Which, even though it won't work, I think will still look better. Maybe. Maybe you just can't even tell that it's there. Oh no, the reason I put the block in is because it allowed me to snap the pieces together really easily. So by having the full block, I can easily snap another one on top. That's why I didn't use a ladder. It's a really easy block to put in and a really easy block to remove. So it was just a nice way of doing it. Cool. Neo, if you wanted to, if you add any block mods to the way I've set up this scenario, they will be able to be buildable as normal. Because I only remove vanilla stuff. If you're someone who wants to play with modded stuff, choose. That's fine. It's up to you. Mauricio, how do you keep yourself motivated / reduce burnout on builds? So I have my situation is not really reproducible in some regards, because some of the motivation to keep going is all you guys. Being completely honest about it, you guys are a huge reason that I keep going with some stuff that I in the past would have given up on. Yeah, Nev, the ladder will end in a rotor, exactly. That's exactly what will happen. But I figure that's okay. It'll end in a rotor in the one that's intact. Unless I can... Oh, is there any way I can get around that? I don't think there is. I mean, I guess... Alright, let's try something a bit different. I think it does need to be that tall as well. Let's get a double down of this one. We'll try a different style. So instead of putting the ladder on the inside, I'm going to try something different with this one. Oh, snap on! You accursed thing! You were supposed to make my life easier and you're making it more difficult. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to actually rip off this out a bit. Which ended up being the end of it, but that's fine. I needed to get rid of that too. I'm going to get rid of that. Then, I'm going to place this on the inside. Then I'm going to grind that out, which I should have done before I made the whole thing really tall. There we go. I like the idea of having a 3x3 platform just below the rotor and you could have an access attached to the cabin from there. Oh yeah! That's a good idea, Miss Kana. Alternatively, what I was thinking of doing was putting the rotor on here. Which apparently needs to be on a larger block. Anyway. So I was going to try this out. See if I can get that right down to, yep. Put the rotor on there, and then I can have ladder on the outside. Like that. But I actually think you're probably right. It's possibly better if I did it on the inside. Let's see how this works with a small head added. Yeah, I was thinking this could work. We convert to small grid. Hey Nab, thanks so much. Oh yeah, that should work. Need to do it without jetpack activation, but... So we got that option where we got the ladder on the outside. I'll need to make sure that there's some good loot up in this thing so it's worthwhile climbing that ladder all the way up, or risk toppling the thing and seeing if you can keep it alive. OSHA violations speedrun. Always. So alternatively, you guys were thinking maybe a catwalk and then something on the middle. Alright, let's see what I can do with that. I'll just copy this, and we'll do another one over here. End up with 12 different copy pastes, and I won't remember which ones are the ones I'm using, but that's okay. So I'm going to do that. I need to have this. Yeah, I don't know where that just placed. That and that. Those down. Then also I need to put this in so I can put the actual piece on something, the rotor. I mean, yeah, the crane doesn't have to rotate, so I could just not put a rotor on. But I kind of want, if I'm gonna build something like this, there's a part of me that wants to use the subgrid, just so I can have something that has off-angled pieces. So that's kind of something I think would be cool, but I haven't done yet. But kind of that, then I need to make sure that I need to make one or more of these sides into a stair, which is going to be tricky. This is how I used to get in and out of my old crane. Yeah, I don't think I'd be very good at that job, Chibi. I think I'd cope well with the heights. Part of me that wants to do this. Hopefully not break everything off. There we go. That feels a bit better to me. Guess that after a few weeks of deadly panic, it numbs off. Perhaps, Vox. Yeah, this does... I was thinking of the survival maybe solar array as I was placing down these stairs. The half ones won't work, unfortunately. As much as I would like to use the half ones, they won't work because we don't have a corner piece. We need a half-length corner piece so that they can go around a corner. But we don't have one. We've only got full length on one side. Yeah, there was some obvious bits with the half-width catwalks that they just didn't do. Which is a pity. So you can't use a small plate either because we still don't have a railing piece that would work for it. So there'd be no railing. Which I guess could work if I was like grinding it out to make it look like it was dilapidated, but... yeah, we'll see how it looks. I'll try it anyway. So there's no point saying no to these things and not actually checking them. That off. That there, then needs to be swan. That piece. I was thinking that there, then this There's nothing that sits in the middle. I really can't have any railing at all. I was trying to think of how I could place one of these railings so that it looks like it's falling down. Like it's disconnected, so it looks dilapidated rather than just non-existent, but I can't think of a way to do it. And that's going to be a trouble because it means that every time I put down one of the corner pieces, it's going to be the bit that's missing the railings. Unless I do... well, no, it's just always going to be that bit. And just that bit. Like that. Because there's no narrow stair without a railing. So the only other bit that can be missing a railing is this other flat bit, which you kind of need it to be on. The railing on top like it fell over. That's a good idea. Yeah. Nice one. Good call. I just wanted some evidence of a railing that looked like it should have been on that section. That's all. That was the main thing I was troubled with, I guess. The main thing I wanted to have a railing up this bit for was because when you come off the ladder, if you are someone who's playing with jetpack on, then you're probably fine. But if you aren't and you keep walking forward, that could be very bad. And that's more annoying than fun bad, I think. There we go. Yeah, it's a lot more proportional, isn't it? Alright, so next thing is figure out how on earth I build a crane carriage thing. Whatever they're called. The driver's seat. I have no idea what to put in here. I don't think I want that small head either. I want the bigger small head. At least I think I want to do a small head. Cab on the right side of the jib, please. Oh, you mean driving from the correct side of the vehicle? Okay, yep, sure. I can do that. Okay, that needs to be higher. Or lower. One of them. Higher does not work. Lower also does not work. Go large grid, use an industrial cockpit, call it a day. Alright, yeah, I'll give that a go. See how it works in large grid, because yeah, if I spend ages on this in small grid, that'll be potentially annoying. If it would have worked just as well in large. Rotor on slow override plus only powered from solar so it can start up unexpectedly. Oh, poop, I've done the stairs the wrong way for me to have the cockpit mounted this way. It should be, like, with the way the stairs are, the cockpit should be that way. I don't like the beam blocks as an arm because they are too boring on on half of their sides that you'll see. So that's why I'll be grinding this down to build state because I think that'll look better. Do I flip the stair around just to put the crane thing on the other side? The reason I put the stair up to this height was it doesn't create any problems. Where's the battery? Need a battery. Oh, it's creative mode. I can use the reactor. It creates some weird problems, but it doesn't create any physical problems. And I didn't click save. Wait, what? Is that just not strong enough or something? Oh, it is creating collision problems, I think. No? It does look like it's stuck on the stairs. I didn't think there was actual collision for the grids on that bit. But there is. Okay. Guess we can't do that then. Maybe I do these... Oh, not that one. Maybe I have to do that trick. Do we have the plate that does that? We do, don't we? Thanks, Squeezy. Thanks for the Prime sub. Could you have the Could you have a ladder hanging off the cockpit? I don't think so. I think we'd still run into this stair then. Unforeseen consequences of my actions. And thanks, Juicy Monkey. Thanks for the Prime sub as well. The slanted vent window has the same issue as the larger stairs. I'm trying to use only half block width. And it's full block as well. I think this works okay. So one of the downsides I can see of doing this in large grid, it makes it very difficult for me to hide anything good except for putting something in the cockpit. Speaking of, what do we define as something good? Should I put like a tier 3 grinder or a tier 3 welder in there? Plushy. Oh, yeah. I I was going to wait till I brought him home, but I was going to try and get a photo of Toby when he's smaller than the Space Engineers plushie that I've got. Photo of the two of them together. Power cells? No, so I did not sleep on a couch or a recliner at the hospital. Actually, the hospital was redeveloped, like, I think it got finished about 4 years ago, so it's relatively new. And it means that in most of the maternity ward rooms, there's actually a pull-out. What's those beds that fold out from the wall? Murphy beds, I think they're called. So it was one of them. So it was too short for me because I'm a bit tall. But yeah, it had a Murphy bed in it. That was what I slept on. So it's actually designed with the idea of, you know, the support person staying with the mother. No, Toby is not short for anything. Bilbo, I was saying earlier, Toby is definitely not short for Tobias, because the only Tobias I could think of was the one from Arrested Development. No, I probably don't need that so long on the back end, do I? Bounce. Okay, I need to look at a picture of a crane so I can see if I can get some scale on this thing. I'm not married, but my partner and I have a child. When your girl was born, maternity in Auckland had a split queen bed. Huh, that's pretty cool. My child can't even see my face 30 centimeters from him, so I doubt he'd be able to play Space Engineers. What was I doing? I was looking up construction crane. Tower crane, I guess. Something, I guess something a bit like this one is what I'm after. Now, the staying cables up the top is going to be something tricky to get the look right for. No, babies can only see about 30 centimeters in front of them and not very well when they're born. That's normal. Their eyesight is terrible. I think that'll be far enough. No, I don't want to use hinges for stays on this. The hinges in SI work because it's a static grid. And I kind of forced them into position. I'm thinking what I might do is maybe I'll just use plates attached to a central tower and use the angled plates to see if that works well enough for something that looks a bit like stayed. Like it's like their stays. So we go with just gonna need to go full blocks. Like there. Then no cranes I see out my window on the site building 3 new buildings. The noise is unbearable. Then they'll knock down the building next soon. Oh, Mike, that's rough. The first place that Capac and I shared as housemates, when I first moved into it, it didn't have any construction nearby. It was delightful. And then a construction site began, which then seemed like it ran out of money. So there was construction for about 6 months. And then they ran out of money. And then I was like, oh, great. What's going to happen next? Then there was construction for another random period of time. Then it seemed like they ran out of money. And each time the site would get waterlogged, each time they'd have to redo bits. It was like, oh gosh, this thing's never going to end. It was ridiculous. Thank you so much, Kemsies. Thank you for the 10 gift subs. Oh. I know I said it earlier, but seriously, thank you everyone so much for supporting what I do. Because I was thinking about it the other day, and I'm very lucky that I now get to work from home, which means if something's happening that I need to be a part of, there's a chance I will be, whereas in my old work, there was no way. I was definitely going to miss out on some big stuff, being stuck in the hospital or being exhausted from night shift or whatever else. And I am incredibly lucky to do what I do. Thanks, Morgred. Thank you for 10 gift subs as well. Thank you very much. You reckon 45's on the back? I was thinking, I was just going to look at what it looked like even and then see whether the 45's would be better. I'll do this, since I've gotten this far, I'll do the rest of it, and then we can copy and paste it, and I'll do the 45's. Yeah, Noobtastic, I bet you feel that. The things you miss. What do you guys reckon? Do you reckon I should do that 45's? Yeah, Zuriel, I will be teaching, but the teaching is a bit more flexible. I think that might be okay. Teaching is a lot more flexible than, oh my god, dying patient. The students can deal for a bit. And I know that a lot, unlike where I worked, where I remember one of my bosses telling one of the other bosses, you need to go home and read your kids their bedtime stories if that's what you normally do. Just figure things out here so that, and then looking at me, people like him can manage it while you go and do those important things. But a lot of places don't have that consideration. This is certainly selling the idea. Oh, don't worry, I'm not forgetting the back weight. I'm going to put the back weight on, and then I'm also going to put a line of interior pillars and a cargo container. Let's go with this. Just so it looks like the rails that the weights move on. Then I was going to do this. And we could put something fancy into the... something nice like the tools into the cockpit. And then I could have something really fancy in this cargo container. That's going to be nearly impossible to get without destroying it. Unless you've got a really tall crane. There we go. I thought the weights at the back could move to adjust for heavier to be a better counterweight for whatever you're loading up the front. They certainly look like they do on this one. Looks like they can shift that back and forth along this rail, depending on the mass there. Obviously it doesn't need to shift far, but that's what I always assumed. Do they not? Yeah, the weights can be shifted. I guess it would depend on the crane. Some of them would need to, some of them wouldn't, and some of them would just have a mass limit based on how much tolerance they can have with where the weights are placed. Code on Byte, I don't have a PCU limit. I've just been building small. Oh yeah, I want this to be something people can just bowl over. Because that's part of the fun. Chopping something like this down, you know someone like Capac's going to do that. And that's kind of, that's cool. They should be able to do that. Yeah, that. Then I might go with that. That. Yeah, this can go down that side like that. Just trying to add some extra little bits of detail up here just for something. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm sure some people will be disappointed that it's not functional, though I haven't really done... I've done a lot of stuff in this that looks like it could be functional, but definitely isn't. I think that sells it, though. I'm pretty chuffed with that. Team effort. You guys giving me ideas as I go along, and me having the good sense to listen. No, I don't want to do it that way. What am I doing? I want to put that there. So there is some loot up here for those adventurous enough to figure out how they can get up there. Thanks, Tommaso. Concrete skin weights. Oh, right, yep. Yep. Let me just grab the colour that I've been using for that. Probably make this one a bit lighter, since it's not near the ground. Reduce the saturation a bit more in the grey, a bit lighter. Try that. Obviously, it's completely in shadow, so it's completely hidden. Delightful. We cannot tell. There we go. Now you can tell. Perfect. And if nothing else, this is going to make for good screenshots. Does anyone notice one of the higher LODs of the whatchamacallit, the grid, like the cube? It's very easy to be at an angle where you can't see that beam. Oh. Oh yeah, there's no power on this grid. I'm not sure how I'm going to add power to this grid in a way that fits the design so far. I really don't know. I guess I could sneak a battery in where this block is. That could be an option. Like I could hide a battery there. Which again might not be a bad place to put it, because that's going to be an interesting battery to have to retrieve. Yeah, I was thinking maybe I could do a base with a generator, but there's a part of me that really likes the evilness of this. Small grid up where the light would be in a small grid solar. The trouble with that is you'd need to have a rotor up there, and the rotor starts getting pretty big. Thanks, Tex. Now, I need some suggestions from you guys. What's the branding that's going to be written along the side in Space Engineer's text? Because we've got to have branding on the crane. So start moving when you approach. Ooh. Little construction company. Oh, that's awfully tempting. To put a sensor up here so it starts spinning once you get near the top. Acme, Liftco, Toby, Zebra Crane. Amaru Demolitions. Charlie's Fetch Company. Capco Playmobil. Assertive Holdings. I don't think any of these long ones are going to fit. Scrapworks. McLifty. Oh, Lifty McLift face. I guess that's what you were thinking with that one. Now let's bring the sun back. Thanks, Paladol. Thanks for 3 months. The trouble with a functional LCD is I'm not sure that many people will have it so they can actually see what it says from down at the ground height. Like if we put a functional LCD here and I put anything on there, I'm not sure that it'll be visible. It should be... I've got details set to max. So we'll see how far away I can see it from. So I lose it here. And that's why I've been liking using the block-based text instead. Well, Space Ghost, I've already got dog on the excavator for cat. Because I figured Caterpillar's more known for its excavation equipment than its craning equipment. Let's see. Let's go... to get something nice and bright. Red? No. Green? Ooh. Ooh. The green actually shows up pretty well. I'll go that. It's actually relatively readable. Dingo. BJC instead of JCB. Stalk instead of... Oh, stalk. I kind of like that. It feels appropriate given the timing of when I'm doing this as well. It's barely readable. It's going to depend on the lighting. No, dingoes eat your babies. I think they steal them. We don't know about eating. We know about stealing. Please center it, though. Well, part of me wants to put it actually all the way out on this arm instead, where it's not going to be half under the shade of the catwalk. And that way I can put it on both sides as well. I think here. Nope, that is not the letter I was looking for. Yeah. I think that's... I think I'm happy with this. I think any more detail and I'm starting to just lose my mind. Part of me does want to do this though. Yeah. Sweet. What if stalk was on the upright? I can't put text on the upright. The upright outer cube is occupied. So that I can have the ladder on the inside. Oh, these are just going to probably get deleted, and I'll just use this crane and maybe create a wrecked version from this one. I might, though, do one last thing, because I'm not super happy with how low that is. Just in case this spawns above one of those wrecked buildings. Let's put that up there. I know visually it's maybe one block lower than that. Yeah, that works. Yeah, a hinge chain here would be interesting, but has the problem of, again, hinges are huge. Like, putting a hinge on here, it's real chunky. So I'm not a big fan. What I might add, though, is this around where that is. So it looks like the little mechanism that goes back and forth. Can't do small grid because you need to have large grid to convert to small grid, so you still need the large grid part to begin with. And that's always the problem with these using small grid components in a large grid, is we don't have anything small that's a way to convert between one and the other. It's a large grid rotor, it's a large grid hinge, it's a large grid hinge part. They've all got to be yeah, they've all got to be the proper thing. Now I know that this lettering doesn't make sense given this trolley thing, I think should be just called it. But we can just imagine it's flat. No, Tommaso. Don't start rumors like that. Ugh. The next update will not introduce medium grids. That's an evil thing to say. Ugh. Can you set a sensor to disconnect the rotor as you get to the top? Oh, you can. Ah, that's evil. I kind of like it. Maybe I'll have to do... Okay, alright. Okay, we're going to get rid of these other bits, because I don't need these other ones. Let's just get rid of them. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to let you guys get out all of your evil ideas. If you can come up with anything beyond sensor makes it spin and sensor makes it detach, I might try and implement it. Because I'm going to make a few different renditions of the crane that look almost identical, or in fact may even look identical. And some of them are going to have the evil. And I'm going to make them less common. Because I don't want you to every time know that it's bad. Oh, look at the text. Now it's readable. Perhaps not to you guys, but it is to me. Have a missing ladder partway up. Okay. So we got missing ladder, we've got sensor disconnects it, we've got sensor starts spinning wildly. Alright, so I might need to write some of these down. Where is it? Instruction crane. Sensor disconnects. Sensor spins. Missing ladder. I can't. There's no way for me to drop off parts below the rotor. It's either disconnect the whole thing. Oh. Sensor disconnects, but only once you get up the top. Sensor disconnects before or after reaching the top. Sensor disconnects and cargo is full of ammo. Oh. Oh, wow. Nev, that's high level evil there. Kudos. I mean, I could... No, I can't. I don't really have any way to hide merge blocks in this thing. Also, I need to grind these down and then re-copy paste this. Trouble is, you'll only get to enjoy the evil thing once, and then you're just going to shoot out the block that the sensor's on. Is there a way I would hide a merge block in here to drop off a wall? Oh, hang on. I've just come up with a way to do some of the things you guys are suggesting that I can actually hide. Ground. Sure, it's at least a bit in the ground. Okay, so one of the ideas I just thought of was, what if I pop that out, and instead, let's add a rotor. Pop off the rotor head. Oh! Thank you, whoever the anonymous gifter was who just gave me 50 gift subs. Thank you very, very much. Add a small head. Then I can put a small grid battery in here. Because we shouldn't need a huge amount of power. Like, I could possibly fit a bigger battery, but we'll see. And then the evil thing that you guys were suggesting of... where is it? There is the warhead. Some armed warheads. Because then what I could do is have the sensor drop this. This also gives me the option of hiding a whole bunch of other functional blocks in the weight, if I need to. Chances of blowing up when it spawns should be pretty low. One would hope I would check such a thing. I might need to put a piston in here, just to make sure I can get this nice and snug. Yes. Ah. Yeah, never park under the crane. Exactly. So can you imagine... you can imagine just how much I want to now play with this mod and let Capac figure this out. Or TFE. Or even Shadow, since she's now asleep. Like, just the reaction of discovery. It'll just be magical. And I think that part of what I do is one of the reasons why I don't mind being the person that knows the insides, because I can usually get into a situation where I can get someone else to be the one who discovers these things. So we still get the discovery, even though I was the monster who created it. Oh wait, I can't do this. What am I doing? That's a bad idea. Needs to be this. There we go. The monster who created it. It's not foreshadowing at all, yeah. See ya, Chibi. Test the bomb dropping. Yep, that is the next thing to do. Let's copy this, because I want to make sure I've got a copy with the small grid thing set up so I can easily add extra blocks. Because I can just go into spectator mode to add stuff on the inside now that I've all covered it up. But yeah, the idea will be... I'm going to need a control panel down the bottom so we can test this. Actually, nuts. Info, show sensor field range. Go on HUD. So, where do I want this to be detectable for? I kind of want it to be when you're almost at the top. Let's extend the bottom down. You're on the stairs. Nearly at the top of the ladder. Will that blast be big enough to topple the tower? And it shouldn't be, no. Alright. A control panel of some sort so I can test this. Thanks, Taylor Line. Thanks for 5 months. Yeah, well, it's been a while since you've caught one of these, because it's been a while since I've done a build stream like this. I just wanted something chill after the start of my week being a little bit crazy. Alright, so sensor, setup actions. On player entry, detach. Okay. Alright, let's turn on damage. Since we're doing this. Just copy it in case I've messed something up that I want to quickly change. Stop climbing the ladder just before the sensor range. Oh dear. I was afraid that might happen. Okay, the warheads might be a bit too protected. Yeah, that was definitely... There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom. And that was not. I have an idea, though. Have an idea. If I make those bits a separate grid, then that'll count as a collision for the warheads. I mean, or I could just set the warheads on a timer as well. do both. Now let's go stick a timer block in there so I've got a timer to work with. Neo Shadow is Black Shadow, who I've been streaming with on Mondays, and who has joined me for a variety of things, and who made all of the art in Wrong Way Up. Alright, let's set this up again and try something different. Okay, so the sensor should activate the timer block. The timer block is going to start the countdown on all of these, just in case. And it is going to arm them all. Actually, I'll just leave them armed. It is also going to detach and detach. Sensor will activate that instead. Trigger now. Okay, let's give it a go. I'm just going to fly up to it this time. To copy this again before I actually arm it, because if I mashed it... Acceptable! I'd say that's acceptable. I was gonna use that battery. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't get the exploding noise. That was weird. There was no exploding noise. It was just the clunk. What if warhead timer set to 2 seconds? What if numlock actually on so I can type with numpad? That would be helpful. Hello. Hello, Charlie. Surprised you weren't hanging out with me since you've been missing me so much, apparently. But no, she was moping in her bed because her other owner is not home and has not been home for a couple of days. Alright. That should be all the change I need to make just to see if this works. I'm going to get rid of that one. Yeah, I guess you could do something with merge blocks and drop chunks out at a time, but I kind of... At a point, there's diminishing returns for the effort. Okay, maybe it needs 3 seconds. It was better though, we got the exploding noise. I'll try 3 point... Nope, that is not 3, that's 6. 3.5. Whoop. Dang it! Well, Jix. Well, I'm not going to read that one out. That is not a line that I need to be heard saying on the internet. Yeah, I'll just try 3 flat like I said I was going to do and then didn't. I kind of want it to explode just before it hits the ground, because then we'll get the exploding rather than the clunking. Box, I don't know. Sound in Space Engineers is weird. It does weird things. And yeah. No, apparently that's just too long. Still. If the crane is on uneven ground, which it will be, it's going to be different. Yeah, there's going to be a whole lot of factors like that that'll play into it. But at least if I can get it close, so most of the time it works, I'll be happy. Or we can just get no explosion sound, even though it didn't hit the ground. Sleeping like this. You inhuman monster of a thing. Nope. I think we're just gonna have to accept that's how it's gonna be. Oh well. Okay, so we got one evil one done. One evil crane variant done. So let's turn off the sensor from show on HUD. Go in terminal. Okay. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Alright, let me try that once. What if instead of the way I've been doing it, we set a delay, even if it's only just a few ticks, of when the two different parts get separated. So, which one of these is a small grid rotor? Small. Rotor, small. One sec. Other half just messaging me where she can't find something that I put away last night. Timer block. What we're going to do is get rid of the small detach. Actually, get rid of the regular detach. I'm going to go put it on a further hotbar. Because they're actually... the hotbars are activated in sequence. So if I do a tiny little... even with this little gap, it might be enough. Then... give it a go. See if that works. Nah, not enough. Might need a second timer to do that then. I can't really blow the cockpit because you'd need to hide a like a thing somewhere. Oh no. Did I just mess up the thing that I... No! No? I'm looking in the wrong crane. Why am I looking in the wrong crane? Thought for a second I messed up my copy-paste cycle. Pasted in a broken one. Let's turn the lights back on. Let's get another timer block in here. Where's my programming block? It's on the hopper somewhere. It's on one of these. There we go. Alright, with 2 timer blocks, I can separate them by like a second. So one drops, then the other drops. Set up actions. From toolbar. So the small one detaches. Oh wait, no. What? This will be regular rotor detach. Detach an arm at the same time. Then timer block 2 is going to be small one detaches. And then it triggers the original timer block to start. So the original timer block, let's set it just to 1 second. Sensor needs to be set to trigger the other timer block. And then what's going to happen is this timer block 2 will be set to trigger now, which will then drop off the flat panel on the bottom, and then a second later timer block 2 will trigger its action and drop the other bits. Dropbox with a turret. Ah. There we go. Same clang though, rather than the explosion sound. The extra timer block's probably not needed, is it? Hey, Drescom. Also, Kitsu, did I miss your 2,000 bits earlier? I think I did. Thank you very much. I think I lost it in some of the other insane gifts you guys have been giving me today. Yeah, I don't think that adds anything. Yeah, Orion, I was hoping it would work the same way that you were expecting, where, you know, it'd drop and then we'd get the clear resounding boom of the warheads because of the clanging hitting at a different time, but apparently not. Space Engineers' sounds are really weird. It's really easy for them to get overloaded and your sounds not to work. Thanks, Justin Mechanic. Thank you for 28 months. This one's not set up to do anything yet, but has the warheads. This one's set up to do the warheads, so I need to not fly close to it. In fact, let's make this safe. Sensor. Owner. Friendly. Off. So I should not have any impact on this. Good. Thanks, Existence. Yeah, everyone's doing well. Audible proximity alert off. No, on. I like the panic of blip blip. Uh-oh. What's happening? Get rid of the underground one. Hydrogen tank instead of warheads. Oh, yeah. The sensor's still going to be on the original one. On the one that does nothing and just has good stuff. I'll put good stuff even in the ones that do nasty things. So that you can try and figure out some ways of dealing with it. That was spectator cam that put me below the ground. Because it does not clip. Or it clips. Whichever way that's supposed to be said. Alright. So this one, I think what we'll do is make it spin. So if I'm going to do that, I really need it to be clear of the other ones. Yeah, I suppose the intact hydrogen tank thing isn't a bad option because the capturing intact is nice. But equally, 4 small grid warheads is how many explosives? That's 8 explosives, which is a not insignificant amount of magnesium, which, considering this will be... Oh... That's what I should put on the end of one of these. Since that was the whole reason we were here. They'll be reprocessable with a basic assembler. Yeah. So some of these will have a cargo container, some of them will have an assembler. I might put some other fancy blocks that are rare on the end of the crane, so... Because, like, that's high. That's going to require some engineering to get down safely. And I think that's kind of the fun bit about these cranes, is they will require engineering to get them to work well. Need plate on all sides. Yeah, true. I might put plate or at least something on them. Yes, timber is an option. I'm sure one that many of us will employ at least once. So, the downside of catwalk is that, like, this catwalk... sort of does work, actually. I never think it works as well at a distance. The other downside of this is that it's going to make it really easy to keep these intact if you knock them over, because those blocks will protect them. I think my playtest rover could reach that, but then my crane is fairly adept. Like, it's got some really good extension on it. I'm also going to make it so that the likelihood of the exploding one being the one you find is small. So you'll be more likely to find a normal one that's perfectly safe, or at worst starts spinning, than you are to find the explosive one. The explosive one is going to be rare. And may only spawn under certain situations. And may make it even rarer. But the idea would be that it's not something you're expecting to run into all the time. And most of the time you can just deal with this as though it's normal. Yeah, so the bad stuff is meant to be rare. Just occasional. So, what we're going to do is get our rotor. Wait a second. This will be fine. Just need to get rid of those warheads out of this one. Or leave them. Maybe I'll leave them. I'll leave them. I'll leave the armed warheads in here, but this one doesn't drop. Cool. That works. Advanced rotor. That's the one. So you are going to have some braking torque. And switch you off. And velocity, something like that. And the sensor. Set up actions. Advanced rotor toggle on. Advanced rotor toggle off. It's even the best bit. Yes, perfect. If I can make the sensor so it doesn't trigger until you get in a position where you could get knocked off by it. Oh yes, we're doing that. We're definitely doing that. Make visible on screen. Show on HUD. Oh no, I need to have it on so I can see where the thing goes. I also need this to stop. Yes, the sensor can deattach the rotor head, and that's going to be another option that I will probably use. I just want to set up this one for the spinny first. Let's come down just a little bit lower. Let's try this out. Should be able to stand here safely. Then we walk up. Then we're like, oh, let's walk up. No. People who watch this stream will be so paranoid. Okay, so it can be any of 9 things. How do I face this thing? Well, I don't park under where it could drop the thing that can explode on me. I don't... There's a part of me that also wants to change this out, so this could be the explodey end. And... Show on HUD. Off. Yeah, you don't park underneath it, and you climb up and find out what happens. Because I think the chances, given how flimsy the whole construction is, the chances of you being able to snipe out that single block where the sensor is pretty low. Don't forget a version that drops a box that does not explode until you approach it. That's doable. That's quite doable. Oh, a crane. I'll wait 2 days before approaching it. So, just to give you an idea, battery life on this crane. 4 days. That is 96 hours in game. So yeah, you're not going to be waiting till these things run out of power. If it doesn't explode, how survivable is it for the battery to just be cut off? I don't really want to do too much testing of ways to circumvent it, but I'll do one bit. I'll do one test. So, elite rifle. Okay, that's harder than I thought it was going to be. Because I haven't made that as delicate as it could be. Ooh. I should probably grind some of these things down so that the ones you don't want to hit, they're the weakest. Huh, the warheads didn't go off. The assembler did, though. I'm pretty sure they're armed. No, they're not. They are disarmed. Ah. Let's fix that. What's this to access? Get that highlighted through there? No. Panel, warheads, arm. Let's try that again. Okay, so we go, get the rifle out, start spinning. Oh, there goes the block next to the cockpit. Oh! Oh! Oh, that was a lot more spectacular. But the warhead still didn't go off. I think we might need the event controller to make this work. The warheads need a sensor. Yeah, maybe the warheads do need a sensor. Yeah, and the event controller's not far off, so it's not like I couldn't wait for it. But I'd rather let's. There it is. Let's put a sensor in here. Let's clean up my mess a bit. Okay. Now, I hope that is the one that I want it to be in. Yep, looks like. Let's get in there and set up that sensor. So this sensor is going to be really basic. Sensor 2 is going to have quite a long range to it. Because I don't want to kill the person, I'd rather give them a jump scare. It's more fun for it to be a delayed explosive jump scare. Set up actions. Wait, what? I did the wrong one. No. Ah, I did the wrong one. What am I doing? Hope. Have I got a copy? Is that my current one? That'll be without the sensor in it. Ugh. Oh wait, I can just use it to check something. What did I set the sensor range to? 7.1. Cool. Five. Bottom extent 7.1. 5. 5. Alright, this one is not going to get an audible proximity alert. It is going to go... yeah, 20 meters is probably far enough. Set of actions is going to... need a time block in there too. Oh, actually, maybe I can do it with group. Go, detonate. Done. Simple. Ish. Ah! I think I triggered the sensor. Yep. Whoops. Let's try that again. Oh dear. That was dumb. Oh, that was so dumb. I'm such an idiot. Oh, I can't believe I did that. Yeah, let's set that up again. This time, the first thing I'm going to do, before I set the sensor to do anything, is I'm going to set it up so it doesn't detect me. Until I'm ready for it to detect. Or at least I'm going to remember that I need to steer clear of it. Yes, the jump scare did work. That is true. It was functional. Make sure I'm in the correct crane. Yes, I am. So many holes in the ground around here now. Sensor. Setup actions. No. Maybe we don't need it at 20 meters. 20 meters might be a bit far. How far? If I do that, that'll help. That'll help me not run into it. Now we have the safety group. Sensor, set up actions on the group. It's going to detonate. Or could do start countdown. Just for a bit less predictability in how it's going to behave. Okay. So in theory that should be fine. Let's try this again. Set up the spin. And we'll shoot it free. Uh-oh. Oh, just got clear of it. That was close. Dang it. I should probably just use a rocket launcher. Okay, here goes. And then you're like, oh, okay, that happened. What's over here? The big box is the visible sensor range, which I've left there for me not accidentally running into it. So when you set up a sensor to show on HUD, it does that. So we can turn that off now. Maybe we'll drop this to 1 second. 1.5. Watching it fall apart is quite a bit of fun. Let's try another way. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. Alright, cool. I'm happy with this. I think we can say the crane's done. Which equally means I can say that the assembler is now in. The assembler that I wanted in. Which I've modded the production capabilities of. So we've got a spinny one. We've got a spinny one with an explodey thing on the back. I need to make the spinny one with the explodey thing on the back. Maybe need to make just a regular spinny one with a large grid thing on the back. So it's not all super evil. Oh yeah, the warhead sensor noise was still on, wasn't it? I'm okay with that, actually. Given I've put a delay on it, I'm okay with it. Because it might save you. It may give you just enough to save you. Oh yeah, I haven't done the detach yet, have I? So that was going to be this one? Nope. Nope. This one. Yeah. Alright, so, sensor. Setup actions. Spin. Bug on. Then we're going to, when you leave the area, detach. I might... I'm kind of tempted... Oops. Didn't want to clean that up. Poop. Oh, I can't undo that either. Dang it. Thanks, Yestergear. It's the 100 bits. Yep, I did leave the sensor range. I did. Like a dope. I gotta do that again. I'm definitely gonna blow some things up in this. It's gonna be really annoying. Okay. So, we know it works. So, I'm just going to go with toggle block on and detach. And then the sensor is not going to detect owners off threat. Oh no. It's just attached. Yep. By disabling myself, I left. That did work. I wasn't too late. Okay. Owner and friendly off. Ooh! Oh, that means you've got a chance to rescue yourself. If you've got control of the rotor, you could potentially save it. You could attach it before it falls off entirely. Nice. I'm happy with that. I'm just going to leave it at its current range. I'm okay with this. Actually, no, I'm going to extend it. Who hacks the rotor first? Yep. It wasn't spinning for me because I hadn't triggered the on action. The on action is the spin. So when you get into the sensor field range, it'll start the spin. And then when you leave it, it'll do the detach. So it starts at spinning, and then however long you stay there, it'll spin up and up and up and up, and then as soon as you leave the area, it'll topple off, and it'll topple off at speed. So we should be able to test this one by moving it over here. Quickly changing the ownership settings from test to, well, from safety to test. Sensor, detect owner and friendly. So now if I say fly up to here, I walk up, I'm like, oh, cockpit. All right. I haven't set up the rotor. Whoops. We go braking torque up. We go toggle off. And we go velocity. I don't want this one to go super fast. Just like 6, yeah. Now we try this again. We test it. Use missing lettering as clues to what type of crane it is so you can learn it. What do you guys think about that? Do you want to know if you learn which one does which based on looking at the letters, what you're facing? Yeah, it seems like most people are saying no. I can understand an argument both ways. Like there's a nice thing to learning what's happening, but then I think Space Engineers gives us so few surprises. By the look of the response in chat, this is one of those situations where, like, actually, can you just give me the surprise? Can you just let me not know? Which I can totally understand. Like, there's a fulfillment from learning, and there's also a give me a surprise in a game that very rarely gives them to me in a way that isn't Clank. Oh. 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 That could be devastating if your vehicle is anywhere near. And hey, the battery didn't get completely destroyed. It's rebuildable. Oh yeah, can you guys think of anywhere where I could use some hazard marking on this that wouldn't look silly? It's a rusted out thing several stories high. I feel like this is implied. Danger. Fair, Nev. Fair. And I guess I could have replaced these rusty bits up here with them. They'd probably look okay up there. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it. I think it's kind of cool that it's all rusty. I think the silhouette is going to be just magic for me for creating a thumbnail. It is. I feel like I've got the recognizability here. I've got the. You can pick it from the silhouette. Yeah, the cockpit can't detach when you get inside it because I'd need merge blocks. Unfortunately. It's the sort of thing I could probably pull off with a small grid, but with a large grid you need too much. Alright, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 variations, and this is going to be number 6. Where you can have a fun time figuring out how to fix this ladder. I'm obviously, most of the things I've done are completely able to be circumvented by jetpacks, and if you want to play with jetpacks, that's fine. You still got to move the grids around, and that's still going to be fun, so it's all good. Mag plate won't allow you to spawn in the grids. It needs to be one whole grid for the mag plate to work. Gagaball, I would say the base game of Space Engineers is very much worth it, since that's what I played for several years because we didn't have DLC until relatively recently. Yeah. I think that's a... I'm really happy with that crane. I'll mess around with the actual spawning of stuff on a little supporter session in Discord or something later, because I don't think I want to make you guys suffer through me playing around with VSC. Broken down crane. How would I do a broken one that's not going to be a problem? Because yeah, we should have a broken option. Let's mess with that. So obviously the broken one's not going to have any of these bits. And if I get rid of the rotor... Oops. Put that out. So the trick for the broken one is, how am I going to make this work with the mod? So one of the things I've done with some of the other... Where did that go? One of the things I've done with some of the other bits that break apart is I've used the blocks that I delete on spawning as the connecting pieces. As you can see here, for the broken power line, this battery gets deleted on spawning, so then this drops and falls naturally to whatever the terrain orientation is in that location. So I'll do the same for the crane. So I guess with these toppling, it's not the worst thing if I have some grids that can fall over, but I'd prefer to not have too many things that fall over just as the player approaches. Part of the reason for that is performance. The more I do that, the more I start hurting performance. And if I can do some without causing damage, then that's better. Because then I can use the damage on the ones where it's really going to be interesting. Rather than just... Oh, okay, that's how this is, I guess. Sort of thing. But the other advantage of having a pre-broken thing is I can make it look better. I can make it look a lot better than the thing deleting it, breaking itself. Because I can use plates to make it look like the metal's twisted and sheared apart and that sort of thing. Takari, for multiplayer, you just have 2 spawns. And then you can combine your 2 rovers. So no, I don't have a specifically multiplayer-focused thing for it. For the starter rover. Alright, so if I go with, say... something that's going to give me an attachment on both ends. Something like that. Spawn area? No? Yes? Oh. Yes. There we go. So that'll now drop from there, which means it drops from a low height, so it shouldn't cause voxel deformations. The plates don't buckle, and build states don't buckle either. So there's no deformation to build states or plates. It has to be full armor blocks for that. So unfortunately I can't use just shooting it either, which is annoying, because the shooting does look good, usually. So I gotta do things like this. I'll add gnarled bits that look like they've torn off. Just trying to find a bit that's going to look right here. Maybe that'll help, and then we can go with that. And I grind these down. Because I honestly think that like I've done on these buildings over here, looks better than what we can get with just demolishing stuff. Also going to pop that off and put one of these in. Oh yeah, I'm gonna mess with the fallen one in a sec. Just thought I'd do the tower part. So it's all torn and wrecked. Now we're gonna break this one up. Which means cutting the stays. So they're not gonna survive the fall. Probably cutting this off midway through the lettering. Cut it off there, and I'm going to put a full plate here, which I'll put the letter from that side on, and then obviously we're missing the one from the other side. This will work, I think. Just try and, you know, give it that little bit of bent and twisted look. There's a limit to what I can do, because the more twisted I make it, the less recognizable it is, but also the more pieces I'd need of it. Laws, it's absolutely the case that if you are in a faction, you should spawn near them in survival. There are mods that will mess with that, but that's absolutely how it works. As Nev is describing. Oh yeah, I need to put the solid counterweight in, don't I? Good point. So that should be part of it. Just need to make a concrete again. Part of me wants to do this and pop that piece out. And put a battery in here, which is going to get deleted. That, and now we'll have 3 pieces. How can someone start with modding? Chipsticks has a couple of guides on how to start some stuff of it. But generally just looking at how other people have made mods that do something similar to what you're hoping to do is a really good place to start. See how it's done. Because you can look inside the files of any mod. I've got some guides on how to do MES mods that have, and these streams over the years that I've done, which I think some people have found helpful. Sensor. That, and then I'm going to pop this middle piece out. Something a bit different. See ya, turtles. Put that out. And that. That looks a bit different. So when this spawns in, it'll be in 3 pieces. There'll be the chunk over here, which is mostly kind of intact-ish. With the concrete part. And then we've got this middle piece with a few broken bits, a few gnarly looking bits, and then this other bit over here with this part. So it'll fall and then it'll spawn in at full height. Those batteries will be deleted and then it'll fracture into the 3 pieces, so you'll find it in 3 parts on the ground. Which I reckon should work reasonably well. Certainly makes it clear that it's a wrecked crane, and I should definitely wreck the cockpit. Did not mean to get rid of the cockpit just then. Maybe I should. Maybe I should lose the cockpit. Part of me wants to leave it because I feel like it's one of those defining features. There we go. Wow. Tommaso, I'm guessing you haven't had a great experience with modding. If your first step to modding is accepting that everyone will hate you, second is to give up all belief in your joy and happiness, and third is to learn to embrace spite. No, I think the key, to me, the keys with modding are make something you want, make it the way you want, and if someone gives you an idea that makes it more the way you want, implement that. If someone gives you an idea that's not the way you want, but you can easily do it, maybe make it an option. But if people are wanting stuff that isn't what you want it to be, just explain to them that's not what you want it to be, but potentially offer them, like, potentially be okay with them taking your mod and making it what they want. Because I think being willing to share what you've created and let other people modify it to make something different is good. I'm happy with that for the majority of my mods. The only one that I'm not happy with people doing that with is ACS, because that's not entirely my work. Because those ships were designed by other people and submitted to me for that use, I don't feel happy with other people taking that and using it for other things that may not align with what the submissions were expecting of it. There we go. One broken. Yeah. I figured it was dark humor there, Tommaso, but I also thought it was it's a point worth bringing up when people talk about modding. Like, the mods I make are the vast majority of them are for me to use in a series because it's what I want for that series. And so once I've stopped with that series that I'm using it for, I usually don't look at them again. Because I'll move on to something else. The broken crane has only junk? Yeah. Yeah, it does. Actually, maybe I can give it some grids. There we go. It's got a few grids. R-Type, Space Engineers has the full spectrum of people who are really happy with people reusing their mods and changing them and doing stuff. And then there are people who very much dislike that, and anywhere in between. But generally speaking, yeah, you're right. You shouldn't take someone's mod, change it, and re-upload it, particularly with their name on it and their thumbnail. You should be changing those two things, even if it is something they're okay with being reposted. You should be redoing those, because those are the things that define what it is when you're looking through a list. It's really annoying looking through a list and finding 4 thumbnails that are identical because someone hasn't changed it when they re-uploaded it. And yes, copying and modifying and re-uploading is against the Steam terms of service. So unless it's explicitly stated that you can do it, you shouldn't do it. Keen will, on behalf of modders, take down stuff and potentially give a warning to people who post other people's stuff without permission. Yeah, the OKI weapons mod is a particularly egregious example of so many people using the same thumbnail and things because they've just modified a few settings in it. But I don't use weapons mods. Who needs weapons mods? The game has enough weapons. Right. Can anyone remember what the other things were that I said I needed to make to have the mod considered to be publishable? I needed to add the basic assembler in on the planet, which I've done. The basic assembler in one of my other I've modified it so it only can produce certain things and it can only reprocess certain things. But I'm trying to think of any other blocks that I said I really needed to include, and I can't think of any. I mean, I did have a list, but my list isn't in there. I thought I had it. I thought I put it at the build list, the build ideas list, but it's not there. I thought that's what I did, and I don't know what happened. Wait, did I put it? Maybe I put it in one of my Discord things. One sec. The Scrapyard thing doesn't look like it. Yeah, poop. Do not. Oh, hydro. That's right. The other thing I need to do is create more variations on things like these planes have atmo thrusters. There are various trucks that have atmo thrusters on the back, like this one's got 2 sci-fi large ones. Got some batteries. We've got a large hydro thrust. We don't have any small hydro thrust. That was the other thing I needed. I need small hydro thrusters to be found on a vehicle somewhere. What sort of vehicles gonna have? I mean, I technically have a small hydro thruster in one of these dumpsters, so you can find one in a dumpster. Make sure you search the dumpsters. What can I put a hydrogen thruster on? I mean, I guess I could make something that looks like Could I make an above ground missile launching looking facility? Helicopter. Put 2 little hydrogen thrusters on the back of it. Thanks, Alf. See you later. Crashed ICBM. Missile on the back of a truck. I was thinking more of like... Is there anything you guys can think of where I could use a hydrogen thruster not as a hydrogen thruster, but as a decorative element that looks like something else? Like one of the things I've used hydrogen thrusters for in the past, especially small grid ones, back in the days of the early light echoes, I used damaged ones as barbecue pits. I'm trying to think of how I would apply that to something I can actually spawn in. Yeah, chimney on a building. The trouble with the chimney on a building with this is that it's large grid, and I want to spawn in a small grid one. Yeah, I'm thinking the rundown hobo-like hangout area might be the go. How do thrusters end-to-end look like? It's an interesting idea. never remember when I place these things. That could be used just as a decorative element on some of these trucks. It's a beer keg. Interesting. How do you guys feel about me using a key functional block like this just as a decorative element? It's like a Naguita generator from Stargate. Yeah, it kind of has that look a bit. Use ground down thrusters instead of headlights, yeah. Go further and open it up a bit more. What about the industrial ones? Alright, I need a attachment point on both ends for them because they don't have attachment points on the side. They are less functional than the vanilla. No, I don't think it lets me place it there. What a poop. Okay, they can't work end to end. They have to be because it has a larger collision. Okay, people are on board with the idea of decorative elements. Well, that makes it easy. Because then what I can do is I can just make an extra variant of a few of these vehicles that you can, if you're careful, find hydrogen thrusters on. Because I can easily do it to, like, replace this bumper bar. Or replace one of the hydrogen tanks inside. Or, you know, there's a whole bunch of different ways I can do it with some random vehicles. In fact, maybe it should be on the planes. Oh, hang on. They could look like really good bombs, couldn't they? Maybe we don't have anything that works that's a dome. Other than a gyro. Get there eventually. Yeah, the gyro doesn't really work as well as I thought it would. Kind of works, but not really. But yeah, we could do the round tube and one thruster on these for a bomb, rather than doing the whole thing. So that's an easy option. But yeah, I think on the trucks, what I'll do is I'll replace some of the fuel tanks with I'll put a camera on the front. Yeah, good idea. Gotta remember to actually get a copy of this and export it. Call it something different. Control paddy thing. Access point. I don't think I do on this one. No, have I got rid of it? I think I have. I'm not using a lot of. I'm not using a lot of that. Oh, danger zone 3, because I think the other one is the 2. I think that's the 2. feel like Charlie just scared herself. No, that's the fly-by-night. Oh, wait, there is only two of them. Cool, that's an extra one. Nice. Put this here, because it should be beside it. So yeah, that works. So that's one. And then I'll find a spot in some of these trucks to replace a fuel tank with a pair of them. And just hide them in random ones. I think that'll work really nicely. So then we've got hydrogen thrusters, we've got assembler, we've got atmospheric thrusters, we've got batteries, power generation. I don't think I'm missing anything. Can find those, don't need to find those, don't need to find those, don't need to find those, because that'll be space stuff. Those you can build, you can find those, you can find those, you can find those, you don't need those. You can build all those, you can build all those, you can build all those, or you can find them. Programmable blocks, because you can't build those. Those are all good, those are all good, weapons are all fine. Find cargo of all kinds. You don't need refineries. Wheels are fine. Ion thrusters will be space only. Can find cryo tubes and survival kits. The only thing would be at some point maybe making a base that has a med bay so that you can have a full-on med bay so that you can redo your suit and recharge fast. That's not strictly necessary and maybe can be another thing that you get from space. It's another nice advantage and reason to go up there. There are ore detectors on a few things. I put them in there because you need detector components for custom turret controllers. So I made sure that you had them because I wanted to provide those parts for them. But yeah, this is really close. I think, depending on how my next few weeks go, I should be able to get this out soon. I'm going to wrap up this stream here so that I can get to the hospital and go see my little boy and do some other things like that. I'll be back Friday morning, hopefully, with more of the Scrapyard stream as normal. And I'm going to try and add the things we built today to the mod before I do that. So there's a chance we'll find those cranes. There's a chance we'll be able to deal with some of the challenges of those cranes during that stream. And I will also hopefully be able to get Assertive Acquisitions out either today or tomorrow. Because I've done the rough edit. I just need to do the final. Thanks so much, Yestakir, for the 300 bits. And thank you, Kitsu, for another 1,000 bits. Thank you very, very much. So yeah, I'll be back on Friday. This is all that and plenty more to come. And I will see you then. Thanks, Dragnon, for another 10. Getting in right before the end. Thanks so much, man. Hey, and one of them hit DE. I will see you all later. Have a great day. And Kitsu. Dang it. I was just about to hit the button. Thank you, Kitsu, for another 10 as well. Thank you very, very much. Thanks, everyone, for your incredible generosity today. It's... Oh, man. Thank you. Seriously, thank you very much. I'll see you all later. Bye!